Faith Forged in Fire, where we dive headfirst into the unique challenges and triumphs that comes with being a firefighter, all while exploring what it means to live out a biblical worldview. Join us as we find hope, perseverance, and faith in the midst of the heat and chaos. Welcome to the podcast. We've discovered that if it's bad enough with three in the studio, you put a fourth in the studio and we derail in a hurry.
Before we get started.
Before we even get started.
Yeah.
So a couple of things real fast. Just want to say this, by the way.
It's hot in here.
It is hot in here.
Yes. Point number one. It is hot.
We finally got to break out the new microphones.
Ooh.
Yes.
We've got a wonderful new sign.
Ta-da!
Best
And we
business
planned this out a long time ago.
We planned something
After I text and said, "Will you
Don't
be
mess
on?
with your mic.
Will you be on the show?" I said, "Oh, this will be our first show with the new mics and the sign, and we have Jake from Red Flannel Coffee here.
the Jake.
Yes. Welcome, Jake.
Thank you.
So how cool is that? So we'll pretend that we planned that.
Perfect. Listen, we pretended that we planned this episode and it derailed immediately.
Immediately,
I don't know how many people are going to buy that we planned this.
right? They probably won't see the derailment at first, but anyways,
That's all right.
That's the blooper reel.
So
The
the-
blooper reel comes out.
The cool part is we've got Jake for 2 episodes. So encourage you guys to come back next week. We're just going to say that right now because this is probably going to be a little bit more of a lighthearted episode. We're going to find out really one of the things I can't wait to hear about is how our sponsor got started, Red Flannel Coffee. And we're going to talk about that and some other things. And then next week, a little heavier conversation, but looking forward to that. So Jake, welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Don't lie.
All right.
Be honest.
Thank you. I'm here.
And now you all know why we love to have Jake in the studio.
Yes.
He fits in.
Why I have not been invited yet.
Right.
Until now.
Until now.
Yeah.
So just introduce yourself. I mean, this is kind of your show in a sense.
Oh,
I mean, you're the sponsor. So
ignore these other guys, if you will.
yeah.
Yeah, so my name is Jake Watson. I'm the founder of Red Flannel Coffee Company. I am the president of the School Emergency Response Coalition, a 501c3 nonprofit that I run, and the founder of, well, would you say co-founder of the Beard and Flannel Society?
Now you're the founder.
I think you founded it. But anyway, yeah, that's essentially me. I was a firefighter for nine and a half years or so with Rich. And now I'm on to other things.
All right. And that's something else we're going to talk about, your foundation, because we've mentioned here that that's where a lot of or most of your funds from Red Flannel Coffee go as well. Right. So it's very appropriate that we talk about that. So
yeah, for sure.
Let's just jump into it. Let's have at it.
All right, what are we doing?
Take 2.
He didn't take the notes.
So
first, you need to introduce, talk about our,
I lost the bag.
talk about our sponsor.
The bag flew. Hold on.
Yeah, this might be the best
Commercial?
the best props we have yet.
Yeah.
Because he'll actually know what he's talking about.
all right, well,
Maybe.
this
We hope.
you assume this episode of Faith Forged in Fire is brought to you by Red Flannel Coffee Company.
Wow.
He's
All
hired.
right. We're gonna
right.
we're gonna
That
like
was
clip
official.
that and just keep using that.
There you go.
There you
do
go.
that.
You can use it as much as you want.
By the way, for anybody that gets the Red Flannel Coffee, a funny little story that I must tell. I was just telling it before. We got my very first bag of coffee, and I did the normal guy thing where I looked at the bag and go, how do you open this thing? And I'm looking around. So I basically busted into this thing like a grizzly bear into like a cooler of food. And by the time I was done doing that, I said, uh-oh, there's a little tab right here. And I tore that thing up. I said, yep. So my wife came downstairs and she said, what did you do? So it was to say we had to finish the bag right away. to maintain freshness because they couldn't like close her back up anymore.
Right.
Which it does have a very nice seal on it.
Yeah.
When you do it correctly, it's very nice.
Yeah,
Very
thank
nice.
you. Yeah, we're actually thinking about including instructions on how to open them from now on.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wish I would have known that in my first bag because
Like you wouldn't have read them anyways.
Well,
true, but
not everybody are firefighters or in the fire around the fire service. So most people would be smarter than that. Us firefighters just tear things apart.
I would like to just, maybe say that it was because he was so excited to
Right.
get
Thank
into
you,
it.
Jake.
So
Thank you, Jake.
a little redemption here.
Jake, you read me well.
I
You
got
read
you.
me well.
That sounds like $10 under the table if I ever heard it.
It'll go towards that air conditioner that you were wanting.
That's the next
Start
project.
taking
right?
a collection over the podcast. Cool it down in here. So anyway, tell us about it, Jake, a little bit, and how that got started, how the foundation got started, how they work together.
Yeah, well, the coffee business got started kind of out of the nonprofit. We were looking for a few years on different avenues to supplement our gifts that we were being given through various grants and other monetary donations. And so we, it was one of those board meetings we were all just kind of throwing ideas around on what we can do to, add to what we already have, and just in case we don't get those gifts. And so I can't say that the idea for the coffee business came out of that. It was more just that, that concept of having a business that we run through the nonprofit. We can, advertise it at every event we go through and let people know, hey, this is supporting us. When we don't ever ask, when we donate AEDs, when we do CPR classes, we never ask for money. We take nothing from this nonprofit. It is 100% voluntary. We do it because we love to do it. However, we need a way of continuing to supplement that, supplement the money coming in. And so I had talked to one of the chairman on the chairman of the board, and we were just kind of coming back and forth with ideas, and we talked on the phone for like 3.5 hours, and nothing came from it really. It was kind of defeating at first. So me being an avid coffee drinker and having been a coffee drinker since I was very young, it kind of made sense to look into, man, how can we, how
That
can
must
we
be why he has
capitalize
such a
on-
good beard going. He started drinking coffee.
Oh man,
That is,
Yeah.
it,
I
love
actually.
that beard, by the way.
I've had a beard since I was 8, so I'm just kidding. I'm
And he
totally
started
kidding.
drinking at 5, you said?
Come
Drinking
on.
coffee
It took,
at 5?
it took about 3 years, and
so the coffee actually has another purpose. It
does.
makes you grow hair too, which
absolutely
is good. Perfect.
Yeah. So, well, not under there, but
I was gonna say, it had the other effect on me.
don't you think he would have, a full head
That's
of hair
true.
by now?
That's a good point.
Yeah, and so we talked about it in another board meeting. Everybody loved the idea of it, and we just kind of went into conceptual planning and everything. It really kind of fell on me. It was really my baby, and hearing from other business owners and other business leaders who sit on our board and people who I respect quite a lot tell me, I love this idea. This is a great idea. I want to see you, go through with it. Now, we did run into a few issues financially to just get it going. So I actually, I own the business personally. I own it separate from the nonprofit. Initially, it was going to be the nonprofit that owns it. So between, the financials and then even just for liability and everything, it made sense to separate the two. So we did, and I got it going early last year was when it actually began, and it really, I didn't kick it off until October last year. So it's still a pretty fledgling
So you're not even a year old yet.
We're not even a year old
Oh
yet.
wow.
So, but we are out there working hard to get it out there and get people drinking it. It's good coffee.
It's amazing coffee. We love it.
You certainly will not regret drinking it. So
Yes, I must say, and I said this, I haven't said this in the podcast before, we were talking about before, my wife will not drink anything else now. And actually I got yelled at on a morning where I made a full pot of coffee, and my wife says, "Did you make the good stuff?" And I said, "No," and honestly got chewed out for it. So
That's my kind of people.
no, I'm serious. My wife is gone. I came home one day. I got bags of Red Flannel coffee everywhere. I'm like, "Where'd you come?" I'm like, I used the code. PJ20.
Right, the code. PJ20.
PJ20. He got it
20% off.
That is the way to go if you want a good discount on some coffee.
Yeah.
Right at the checkout.
Some brand. Here we go. We just kind of smoothly rolled right into this, didn't we? This commercial. So,
yeah,
man. So you can get coffee, you can get grounds, or you can get beans.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. Yeah, I recently had somebody ask why you can never find 1 pound bags of coffee anymore, and you can if you want, large commercial company owned coffee. We won't mention any names here. You guys might get your sponsorship pulled. I'm just kidding. But no, we do 12-ounce bags. It keeps the coffee fresh for as long as possible. There's been research into this. This isn't just people, coffee's been around a long time. Almost as long as Rich, not quite, but I've known Rich a long time, and he knows I love him to death. So he's feeling it. He's feeling it. So yeah, it keeps it fresh. If you buy whole bean, it'll stay fresh even longer. You grind it as you go, but we do offer ground coffee as well.
Yeah, so jump on there.
And actually, this is a perfect jumping off point.
All right.
Something that we just added.
Ooh.
Your props.
Today,
Look at
I actually
that.
got one of these for each of you.
Oh.
That is so much better than a Notre Dame cup.
It is. Thank you.
Nice.
You are very
so
welcome.
much, Jake, for
And that's
not only giving us these cups, but now maybe we need to make a rule that you can only use your official Red
That's
there
Flannel
you go.
coffee
There
cup.
you go. I love it.
And that's a sturdy cup.
That is
sturdy.
that is a 1 pound cup.
Yeah, that's going to keep my mouth.
15
That is
That's
awesome.
a weapon right there. That's
15
heavy.
ounces.
My goodness, that's a heavy cup.
Please don't use it as a weapon.
No.
But here's the cool thing that Jake did for us. We were talking about our code. Literally, Jake's been kind enough to say that your entire first purchase is 20% off. So what we like to say on this show is go spend a bunch of money, because the more you spend, the more you save.
That's right.
So throw some cups in there for your camping
you
trip.
go.
Get a bunch of coffee.
Yeah, that's a good point as well. If you buy 2 or more of these cups, they are 30% off.
Oh man.
So don't use the code.
So don't. It's an automatic discount. So whether you use the code, you can actually use it in conjunction. The
Nice.
discount will stack. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you can get a good deal.
So if
Better
you buy
go buy
100
some
of these,
cups.
If you
you
buy
get
100
20 for free.
There you go.
I'm just trying to do the math.
These are great stocking stuffers. They really are.
That's right.
Well, I'm thinking,
this is
buy them for the
old
fire
coffee.
stations, right?
Fun for the whole family, right?
Buy them for the fire station,
definitely.
stock up.
I think a guy ought to buy these, and then, being Cedar Springs so well, the old newspaper that was in town.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
That one that was really
That one.
popular.
Yeah.
They did a thing where you take that newspaper wherever you go in the world and get your picture
There you
taken.
go. Yeah.
And I think that's what you ought to do.
There you go.
Ooh,
Start
you
taking
know
them
what?
around.
Highly
Take
encouraged.
this, yeah.
Hey, if someone
Definitely.
takes a picture somewhere on vacation with a Red Flannel coffee, you got to do something like a little promo with that.
I'll tell you. All right.
Sipping tea in the Alps or something.
You are so helpful.
Squirrel.
We told you this
yeah.
was going to be a little more lighthearted podcast.
I know.
Speaking of shiny squirrel, I bought you guys a shiny squirrel. In the spirit of being derailed.
Okay, I like
Oh, that is great.
Don't. You're going to get hurt.
In the spirit of being derailed.
That is so perfect. You can tell he listens to our podcast.
Yes, absolutely.
I felt it was so appropriate when I saw it. I was just like, I have to get this.
It's
So-
gonna. It's
that coffee
sitting
related
front
in
and
any way?
center right
I don't
there.
know, but read the directions before you use it.
What exactly is the squirrel?
Just stick your finger in there and push down on
it's
the
just
tail.
a hood ornament.
It's a nutcracker, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
What?
That's how you. That's how they make.
What's in there? What's in there? You know?
That's how Jake makes the ground coffee.
That's what
He
I
actually
was
puts the
just
coffee
gonna
beans
say.
in
Just
there.
one bean at a time.
One bean at a
Fresh as
time.
One bean at a time.
That's
That is
right.
as fresh as you can get it.
Wow.
That is
That is
silver
Well, thank you,
squirrel
Jake.
approved.
Nobody's
Silver-
listening to us anymore. That's going to stay right there, too. That's perfect.
Good. No, I'm glad you like it. I
That's
felt
awesome.
it was
Beautiful.
appropriate.
It is. That's awesome.
I get every bit as distracted and go down these rabbit trails, and I see those shiny squirrels everywhere.
Oh,
So,
man.
my kids were asking about it today. I was taking my daughter to school, and my son wanted to go, so he rode with us, and he saw that in the truck, and he's like, "Dad, what is that?" I'm like, "It's a shiny squirrel," and he's like, "Why?" I'm like, because I get distracted. He's just like, okay, and he just starts playing with it. He had no idea what I was talking about, but it brought him joy, so I'm happy about that too.
Well, now we can say we'll just be like shiny squirrel. We got to get back on. We got to
Shiny
get back
squirrel,
on
yeah.
This is a
track.
great addition to the family here.
That is
it really
awesome.
is, I think.
Do we need another microphone?
Well, listen. Here's maybe what we need to do now. Now we need a name contest. Let somebody come up with a good name for it.
Yeah, I was
you
just
go.
perfect idea.
So we might have to take a picture, put it on the Facebook page, and let them come up with a good name. It's got to be a
right.
good fire name, though.
All right.
Good
Yeah,
name.
I like that. I like that.
Maybe to the winner gets a bag of coffee or something like that too.
there
That'd be
you
kind of
go. There you go.
hey.
I'll do that for you. I'll throw in a bag of coffee.
Oh, you hear
look
that,
at this.
listeners? Do you hear that?
And before we ship that coffee, we'll have Steve do, I'd say live, but it's kind of recorded. But we'll have Steve do a demo on the proper opening of a package.
I've learned a lot about opening coffee packages in
Yeah.
the last few weeks.
Perfect.
I did the other ones perfect after that. Trust me,
Hey,
my
you
wife
think
watched me.
you think you could do a training video for us? I'll put it on my website.
It would be great.
I could totally do it.
I think
Trust
it could
me.
be helpful. Well, then it would just save me from having to add instruction labels every time that I send some out.
So, anyways,
Shiny squirrel.
now that he's put this shiny squirrel in front of us,
We fell for that.
we did. We
Right.
fell for that one, didn't we?
Hook, line, and walnut.
So coming back.
Oh wow!
Oh man,
So your nonprofit.
Yeah, there we go.
is that what we were talking about?
I think so. So the nonprofit. What do you?
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to say that you have a target audience, but who are people? I mean, you don't just give those out to.
Yeah, that's a great
Yeah.
question.
You don't give them to
let's talk-
Walmart. You don't give them to
Right.
Myers. I mean, who are the candidates that are like your people that you really
Yeah,
want
definitely.
to help out?
Yeah, so School Emergency Response Coalition, we started in 2015, and I appreciate that, PJ.
Here we go.
I bet it's going to taste better now.
Now we will. That's made with love right there.
There you go.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so we were founded by a man that I greatly admire and have a lot of respect for. His name is Kevin McGraw. He started School Emergency Response Coalition in 2015, and we were already teaching CPR just in our communities, just kind of by ourselves and everything. He had the foresight to see that there is a great need for not only these CPR classes, but there's a lot of places that we're going to that have no AEDs. And so that's when he got it started. He invited me to join sometime later in 2015. I don't remember exactly when. But it just kind of grew from there. Our target audience, for the most part, I mean, school emergency is in our name. But yeah, public schools in particular is who we're really targeting for this. Public schools are government funded. They don't always have the biggest budget, especially rural schools, smaller schools. So yeah, we essentially target these public schools that can't afford these AEDs. And so that's where we come through for them. We have a good relationship with a couple of vendors who hook us up with these AEDs, typically at cost. That helps us out because the average AED is somewhere. If you're going to get the AED with a wall cabinet, it's going to be around $2,500 to $3,000. So it's just that's kind of standard across the board. There are some fancier ones and some cheaper ones. But yeah, across the board, they're pretty expensive, and so when you're talking a school that needs several of them, they can't afford that, and so yeah, that's where we come through. We do other nonprofits as well. We will donate to other nonprofits. We've donated to Guiding Light Ministries and Dégagé Ministries, and man, there's been a handful that we've donated to. And then we've got confirmed saves as well through the classes that we've taught. Godfrey Lee was one of them. Comstock Park, one of their elementary, I think it was their elementary school. But yeah, we've had people reach out to us saying, thank you for this because it came through for us.
That's awesome.
The training that you guys have done has been, successful in preparing these students. We call it Super CPR. Super stands for Students United Prepared Emergency Responders. And the whole idea is breaking down that barrier that, stepping into a scary situation, is, taboo, that you shouldn't do it, that you should look the other way. Anybody can help if they're prepared. Right. And that's what we want to do is we want to break down that barrier and we want to prepare these students. And so that's really what we've been striving to do. And we're seeing positive results from that. So
there's so many studies that show over and over again that the quick response CPR has a lot more opportunity. So if you have people that are trained to do that, what a great thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And there are cities, when I worked in the city of Phoenix, that's a big deal, putting them in buildings. They've been doing that for years, as putting AEDs, because they're finding that, with someone there, with the response times and with someone there to be able to get an AED on somebody right away, the survival rate is so much higher.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. So early intervention is critical in saving somebody in a cardiac emergency or even if it's a stroke. We also teach, stroke recognition. Because with strokes, time is brain cells, right?
Yeah.
And that's what is kind of commonly taught. And the quicker that you can get them into, post-field care, the better chances for them to have a positive result, are. So yeah, that's kind of, the nonprofit in a nutshell on what we do. We've expanded quite a bit. Our goal is to really hit, every school in Michigan if we can. We're a pretty small organization, but we've got some really, really good support and backing behind us that has really, kept us going. We're small but mighty, and we keep going. Our mission, if you go to our website, it's www.circmi.org. Our mission is
I'll put that in the description, by the way.
I appreciate
so
it.
you can find that.
Down there. I've watched his podcast and I've seen you do that, and he's like, yeah, I don't do that anymore.
Anytime I do that, he just intentionally doesn't do it.
How do you?
He just moves
do we
it over.
usually do what the chief tells us to do anyway?
No. Yeah, that's a good point. So, but no, if you go to our website, you'll find our mission is building safer, smarter, and stronger communities. That is kind of the foundation that we were built on. It's right now teaching CPR and donating AEDs, but we've donated to relief efforts and families who have lost their homes in fires. Even people's medical bills during 2020. So it doesn't stop. We always find a way to help one way or the other, and that's kind of that community aspect of what we do. So
Awesome.
So I'm an independently wealthy person.
Oh, do you want to sponsor this episode?
Well, no. And let's say I got done listening to all the other good podcasts, and this is the last one I'm going to listen to. But I want to make a donation to your corporation. Is it can I send you $20?
Yeah, definitely. If you want to, you can send a check or a money order to P.O. Box 50, Cedar Springs, Michigan, 49319. Address it to CIRC Board of Directors. Or there's an option on our website you can go to and
description. Put it in the description.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, the more help you get, the more help you can give. So
Yeah,
you
definitely.
are open to more than just grants and things like that. You can always take a donation from somebody that wants to help out, somebody that might have been affected by this, not having an AED in a school, and they want to help prevent that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, we're definitely open to taking donations. It definitely keeps us going, and it expands our reach is the big thing. We've when discussing, especially I think it was in 2021, it's kind of towards the end of the whole COVID stuff. We were discussing, where we should start going with this, geographically. And so we started doing some studies and research into, what schools are the most in need. And we found that most of the rural schools, most of the, especially the multiple multi-community schools where they kind of come together because they don't have enough kids for just, one individual community. They're the ones that tend to suffer the most when it comes to, getting those grants from the government and, increasing their budget. They just don't have it. And so, we've really specifically have been looking for them. And, so there's also on the website, I couldn't tell you where, it's somewhere on the website. I know we had it put on because we've got some sent to us, but there are donation request forms. So if you know of a school, if you know of somebody, we've even donated to the American Legion and VFWs and stuff like that. So if you know of somebody in need, by all means, fill out the request form and we go through them at our board meetings and, approve or deny them. There are some that we've denied, typically like private schools. They have private funding and they typically do their own fundraisers and stuff like that. It's not that we want to exclude anybody, but there needs to be a threshold that, has to be met before we donate to somebody. Right. Like you said, we're not, donating to the Walmarts of the world. So,
well, and I'll throw this out there too, even because this was us, if you're a small church as well, that's something. Yeah. In fact, I didn't know that. And our church was looking, we decided, hey, we need to get an AED in and get training. And Rich actually said, well, did you talk to Jake? And I'm like, well, I think he just donates to schools and we're not a school. And so thankfully, Rich texted Jake and Jake said, hey, no, we can help you out. And so we're super thankful for that. In fact, that's how this all got started, because when we were exchanging and getting the AED, then the conversation of possible sponsorship came up and here we are.
Definitely. Yeah. It's really cool how this worked out. Man, was this something else you started? Beard and Flannel Society and this?
Yeah, so touch on that. What does the Bearded Society, because when you hear about it, you kind of think it's just it started off as a joke.
Yeah, it did.
More of a dare.
Well, let me put a pin in that before we go shiny squirrel on.
Yeah, because here's the thing. I think Rich is very good at just stirring the pot behind the scenes and getting everybody else to do stuff.
He really is. And suddenly he doesn't want to drink out of that anymore.
I wonder why.
So real quick, touching on your point though, the way this came about was really cool because, Rich reached out and said, hey, did PJ reach out to you? And I'm like, no. About what? Like, I haven't talked to him in a little while. What's going on? What's wrong? And he's like, no, he needs his church needs an AED. And I was like, oh, consider it done. I was, absolutely. And so then I reached out to you saying, hey, do you need an AED? Mm-hmm. Why didn't you reach out sooner? So we met up and I got you an AED trainer because I realized that I grabbed the wrong one.
Right.
The boxes look identical, by the way, so don't give me any trouble about that.
Oh, no, we'd never do that.
I know you wouldn't.
Actually, I was thankful because we've got it so we can use it when we do the training.
Yeah, so the trainer that you got is the exact model of the AED that you have, so that when you do training, it will sound the same, look the same. It's the same weight. I mean, everything. So, the way that it came about, though, with connecting like that, what you didn't know at the time, because you had approached me saying like, had you thought about, maybe doing, being on the podcast with the coffee and stuff, and it was funny because for quite a while I had been thinking about reaching out to you, but I didn't know how to approach it. I didn't want to be like, hey, you should sponsor this. It's a great coffee, so I'm like, how do I go through this, tactfully, and so I gave you some coffee, and I was like, hey, I want you to try it. Like I've been doing this for a little while now, and so try it. And you're like, oh yeah, I was thinking about talking to you about having sponsoring the podcast, and I was just like, oh man, like
why didn't you ask me sooner?
Why didn't you ask sooner? I got you, but it was so weird because I didn't know how to approach it, and it was just it was funny the way that that your need for an AED kind of led to all of this and to where we're at now with a shiny squirrel sitting on the table and
shiny sign hanging on the wall.
Shiny sign sitting, on the wall, and these really cool
mic arms.
15-ounce mugs here on the table.
Yeah.
The mic arms that will be relabeled here.
Yeah.
It's next episode. Chairs. We got like a whole new studio.
By the way, not next episode. We're not going to go down there, but we've gone.
Right.
You'll understand.
Right. Yeah.
We're way ahead, but Jake will understand. I believe it's in real time when he listens to this next episode. So we'll just leave it at that. Shiny squirrel.
Shiny squirrel.
It's so shiny, I'm even lost in this conversation now.
Let's just put it this way. I got the sign up.
Well, I mean,
Remember, I was getting hassled for not getting it up.
it only took you like, what, a month?
Yeah.
Anyway,
That was hilarious. Yeah.
Did that one come out?
No, not yet.
Okay.
No, because the episode...
Don't ruin it. Don't ruin it.
Don't
Don't
ruin
ruin it for everybody.
The episode that is out as we record this now is the one where I introduced the sign backwards.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's where we're at in our
in our
lifetime
real time.
right now.
Exactly.
So you had told me about that, and so now I finally got to see you have the sign
Oh, okay.
backwards.
So
And
you
I
need to wait
cracked
until
up. Well,
Friday.
Yeah, 2
Right,
days
right,
from
right.
today when
Right.
we're recording.
But it
is
made
the-
me laugh immediately because we had talked. You
Yeah.
told me about that, and so I as soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh, it's this episode that he toys with this idea. I'm like,
then
I
it- and
can't
then it
wait.
come-
I can't wait for next week.
Yeah. And then again, just for full disclosure, so everybody understands what made that one so funny, because as they're listening to this, it will be the last episode they've listened to, as we record 2 episodes at a time, and we record them the first part of them. So we meet for 2 weeks in a row. Like, we meet a week and we record 2. We meet the next week and record 2. So when I get hassled about not hanging a sign a week ago, it was 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So.
That was
It
classic.
was longer than 5 minutes. Come on.
A
It
little bit.
was like
It's
20.
stretching the
So it
truth
was
like
a
30
little
minutes
bit.
and we were recording a podcast. Anyways. So it's time to land this plane, by the way.
All right.
And hopefully this has been just kind of a fun episode to let people get to know. I do want to say this, though, because we've said this before, and hopefully now with Jake talking about this, and by the way, all this information will be in the description, and I'll make sure to put it on our Facebook page as well. So that's a little plug. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram. There's extra content there that comes out, I think, 6 days a week. We have content on our Facebook page and our Instagram page. So make sure you check that out, and I'll have that information there. And then we usually share pretty much everything that I see coming out of Red Flannel to help you keep up with whatever's
definitely.
going on at Red
Appreciate
Flannel
it.
Coffee. And then, where was I? Oh, so we often say, but we say it, we say it seriously now. Hopefully this really helps you understand that when you buy Red Flannel Coffee, it truly does help. We're not just, you know, we say it's a good Christian owned company, but you're not really even supporting Jake. Jake works a full-time job, and that's what supports his family. You are supporting this foundation that gets AEDs in nonprofits. So
Your purchase literally can save a life.
Every time you
literally,
take a sip, you can feel good about where you're spending your money. Because he said that it can save a life. So, or just donate. Just donate if you want. Yeah. So, but buy some coffee and know that it's going to a
I'd
good
like
thing.
to donate. I like to buy the coffee, get something out of it, right?
Right,
Get a cup
right.
of Java with this.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, saving a life. Like, who's that for?
Yeah.
Right, when we joke about drinking coffee to save a life,
Yeah.
you're actually
Yeah.
are.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, guys, it's been a good episode, and thrilled to have Jake. We did say this, and I will remind you: come back next week, because it's not going to be as jovial. It's going to be a little heavier, but I think you will receive a huge blessing.
Sure.
Going to dig into some things that the Lord has done in Jake's life and his wife's life, and just talk about how he's walked through some difficult things, because that's what we do here on the Faith Forge and Fire podcast.
Absolutely.
So-
Absolutely.
Thanks.
We were through the good times and the bad. We walk with the Lord.
That's right.
He walks with us through the good times and bad. But Jake, can't thank you enough, man, for being here.
Yeah.
Thank you for having
You're
us.
you're so much fun. You're fun. You bring another level. We keep going up every
Right,
level every time
right.
someone
Nice.
comes in. So
Now you know what we said about you.
How does he know Jake is not trying out to take that chair?
I know. I'm a probation right now.
So what college do you drink out of the cup? Does it?
What you got?
Are you a Notre Dame fan?
Jake.
Absolutely not.
Jake. Oh my goodness.
Are you a White Sox? Blue Sox?
White Sox?
White
yeah.
Sox.
Oh my
White
goodness.
Sox. No, I think it's Royals, right?
Yeah.
Are you a Royals guy?
Oh, come on.
Oh,
No, because he knows
do
that.
you
know
have a
that he's
sports
a,
affiliation of any kind? Just so we know. Let's get this out of the way because we know where Josh is at. He's busting my chops about where I'm at. Where are you at?
I'm right here in front of you guys. I'm the real deal.
I don't think he's a
Wow,
sports
all right,
buff
that's-
like me.
Not a
not-
sports
that's not
buff at
good.
all.
No.
Okay, that's all right. That's a good
No.
answer.
All
Good
right.
answer.
Red Wings, Tigers, Lions.
Oh, well, these are all the hometown teams. I mean, that's
What you got?
And I'm split between MSU and U of M. I'm not going to lie.
okay.
always down
Never
the-
mind.
down the
I'll
pipe.
leave it here. Let's
Unbelievable.
take this thing off the wall. Let's get him out of
I
here.
know.
That'll look good in my podcast.
I know that's the.
I promise you, there's people each week that are out there looking for Rich's podcast.
I know.
There's a link in the description.
Have you?
There sure is.
I should not say that. Who
You
knows
really
where-
are going to have people looking for that link.
Exactly.
And PJ will go link to Rich's podcast, and who knows where.
Thank you. It's like Where's Waldo on the page.
Oh, my
podcast?
goodness.
I can't find it anywhere.
You have a name for that podcast yet?
No.
No. All right.
All right. Well, we got to get out of here. We're glad you guys listen and stuck through this, and hopefully it gives you just a little bit better idea. I would encourage you, donate. I mean, I'm a little afraid to say this in person, but maybe we need a little fundraiser at some point here. See if we can do a little push and see if we can raise a little money for the foundation.
Yeah.
So
I love it.
Ideas.
Ideas.
How about a dunk tank for Steve?
I can do that. I've done it before. I can do it again.
How about a coffee bag opening contest?
Well, but you know what? I
He's
got
a pro
practice.
now.
I got
All right.
practice now.
we gotta go.
Good.
We gotta go. We're out. We'll see you guys in the next episode.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.